Let's do this. I agree. Just gonna wait for a couple people and we'll jump into this here in a second. I think you guys will get excited. If you're down on silver right now, do not worry, my friends. This right here is not live silver. This right here is 2010. So, yes, I do have bigger expectations for silver. So, I charted out a little bit, and I kind of started charting it, and I was like, why don't I just do this live? I mean, I feel like you guys would probably enjoy it more doing it live with all of you, so you could see how I do it. That was kind of my thought process. So, I got 13 people here. Actually, I got another chat I'm going to talk about here. Alright. 20 people. Alright, let's see what you guys are talking about. I know we're all down right now. I'm down too. But that's why we got at least January strikes. I'm going to show you why probably June or 2022 is better. But I think Jan will still be okay. Alright, so let's jump into it. So what I'm looking at here is the old run back in 2010 through 2011. You gotta be patient. You guys are so impatient. Let me show you this. So if you're looking at this, this looks similar, where we have the huge run up, and then we have some consolidation, and then a faster run up to start 2011. So I marked out some key low points here, and the lowest point right here. So if we zoom in here, this is live. You can see this dashed red line is exactly where we are at right now, and then this blue line is the lowest point before it exploded last time. Yeah, so this was the last time silver got over $20. So silver hasn't been over $20. Oops, 19. There we go. So silver hasn't been over there since basically 2014, 2015. So if we go over here, you can see we haven't been above these levels for almost 10 years. So I just kind of want to show you what happened last time and how you guys need to have a little bit more patience. So these lines I color coded and cloned them already. So I have orange, white, pink, and we can make this one, make it red. And I clone them and I put them over here. So you can see here, here's from bottom of the break above 19, or 20, which was a key point to breaking out last time and was again this time. And the white line is the peak right here. This is bottom to top. The orange line is the first run, bottom to top. Pink line is bottom to high point before it regressed. And then we can actually do this too. We'll go bottom to top for the final run, and we will make that yellow. We'll clone that. Not saying it's going to happen again just like this. I just want to show you what happened last time so that you guys don't get impatient. So let's say that was the last run. So if we were to get that run again from the current mark, that would look like that. So Is it choppy? Let me look here. I could see if I can... Is it not in HD? It looks fine on my end. I'm looking at it live on YouTube as well. Or just because I'm moving pretty fast. It's my internet. Alright. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm not hardwired. I'm stuck in my basement, so... yeah, I could see how it's kind of going in and out HD. Move my little Wi-Fi card around. Like, I literally have the best Wi-Fi card in the world, and it's still just because Spectrum sucks. Okay, so, getting back to my point. It could be my microphone, my headset. I think I fucked up. But either way, what I'm trying to say is, look at these runs last time. The run up last time was actually slower than it's been this time. We have been blessed with silver lately, running up so fast. But you can see the trend here from low to top. We have plenty of time for it to hit that. So if you're in Jan 16, 2021 calls, and it follows the same trend line, we're looking at it hitting by then almost 45. And this is why I was talking about like the 40, 45 lottos for the end of the year being like, they're like 10 cents right now, and they could be $500. So $10 could turn into $500 if we follow the trend. I'm not saying we're gonna, but I'm saying if we do. And right now we're ahead of the trend. We're not behind it. We're actually on schedule, and we're even ahead of it. So that's important to note. We do want to see spot price here stay over 26.50. That would be a very bullish sign. So I just marked out some key levels here with the blue lines. So basically I have the line where it got over to takeoff. I have the line that it bounced off here. And then I have the two peak lines that it was at last time. And then the very peak line up here. So I'm just trying to compare the two runs. So that, and this is not the first run that we've had. There was actually a run back in the 70s. I don't know if it'll, I don't know what it, oh, here we go. So in the 70s, look at this run. The 70s run was actually even faster than the run right now. So we can actually clone this run and see how fast this run was at. So right here it broke over 20 and then bounced over 20. So we'll just go from the breakout to the peak. And let's color that. We'll do that like a ugly green. And we'll clone that. Silver stocks. I mean SLV. There's the junior miners, SLIJ, I think it is. And then there's some actual mining companies. AG is a really good one, and AG Eric Sprout just bought into today. So that would probably be your top silver miner to buy in. There's also a couple other silver miners. I'm trying to think of, I think PAAS is another one. And then there's, I think PAG is another one. Or MAG, MAG, yeah. So let's clone this one, and let's take it to today and see where it's at. This is way back in the 70s and 80s, where silver had another bull run. So every like 20 to 30 years, it seems like silver likes to go on a big bull run and then just do nothing forever. So when we have these recessions that happen, so you can see, look how fast this one happened. Holy shit. Excuse my French. That's crazy. That's actually probably pretty similar to the one we have now. So breaks out above 20. Yeah, that one. So we're somewhere in between the 1970s one. Look how fast that was back then. That's how fast silver can run if it really wants to go. So from bottom to top in the late 70s, early 80s, it went crazy. So we're probably somewhere in between this red line and green line, and it looks like maybe the white line is where we're thinking. Yeah, we've been filling a lot of gaps. If you look at the kind of candles I have here, okay. So if we look at the weekly here, might have to go to like an hourly. This is gonna look real choppy here. Oh, what? Let's go 4 hours. Alright, well, let's go back to daily, I guess, or weekly. So, here's the 3 runs all next to each other. Maybe this is a good good representation. So, we could see this 20 mark for each one is a very big one. And if you look at this, we actually have a cup, a handle, and if everything goes well, this is going to go to 100. Can you be more specific with your define fast? I don't remember what I just said. So, think of inflation this way. So, if the dollar deflates and it used to cost $100 to buy an ounce of silver, and now it costs $95 to buy an ounce of silver, silver is worth less. But if we have inflation and inflation goes up, which decreases the dollar's value, and now it costs $110 to buy silver, silver is worth more. So that's why inflation plays such a big part in commodities and such a big part in silver. Does that make sense? And that's why we always watch the dollar and the dollar and inflation, and that's why when Powell and we have all these inflationary events, that's when silver really moves, and it affects silver so much, and it affects the dollar so much. So that's something to consider, and that's why we watch inflation a lot. I honestly, the whole reason I've been so bullish on silver this year is because we've been having to print so much money to keep the economy afloat, and we're going to have to print more. If we pass another stimulus bill, we're talking $500 billion to another $1 trillion and increasing inflation a ton. That money just doesn't appear. We have to print more money, and the more money in circulation, the more things cost and the more inflation we have. And that is why so many people are bullish on gold and silver right now, is because they see what's happening and they see that the government's going to have to keep printing money in order to keep the economy afloat. And that's usually in recessions and things like that. Like, I think it was Ecuador a few years ago, where like 1 week it cost $1 to buy something, and then like a week or two later it costs like $100 to buy that same thing, and then a couple weeks later it costs $100,000 because their economy was so bad. Paper money started getting less and less value because people had less and less confidence in it. Right now, the dollar has always been traditionally strong, but if the U.S. economy falters, we could see the dollar lose even more value, and people go more towards euro and things like that. So, I know I have a lot of play for September. We do need silver to bounce here soon. I thought we had really good news this morning, and it was good news out of Europe to decrease the dollar's value, but the dollar just followed SPY, or the dollar inverse SPY, and it followed, and the silver followed the dollar, or followed SPY down. So let me show you this. Let's jump out of this. And if you guys want this chart, what happened? Whoa, this is crazy. Here, let me. I can post this chart for you guys if you want to see it. We'll go weekly. There we go. Publish this. Copy. put it in the chat right here. You guys can have it there. We'll tweet it too. Why not? Let's tweet it too. Alright. So let's go to SLV. And I want to show you something that's kind of cool. So here's the gaps. Look at these gaps right here. You see these gaps? This is what I was looking for before. So I had talked about probably like 2 months ago, a month ago, when we first had the giant drop. I think it was when we had that 15% sell-off, that we needed to fill some gaps, and that's what was right here. We needed to fill these gaps, and we needed to, there was nobody that owned silver or SLV in this range. And it's the same thing really for silver. If there's no buyers and sellers in that range, the price is going to be so choppy between there, because we need to get more buyers and sellers till it kind of comes to a point, and then we could start building off that old base again. And that's true for pretty much any stock. I just want to talk about silver tonight, Joe. Just got about 20-30 minutes here, and I'll post this after, but maybe tomorrow we could do Apple or something. So if you guys are okay, let's talk about some silver tonight. I don't really love Twitter. I just forced to use it. I wish I didn't have to use it. I wish I could just do Discord and Twitter, or Discord and YouTube. So I want to compare. I want to show you something. I'm just going to compare the S&P here. So if we zoom in, you can kind of see it's not completely apples to apples, but so once silver breaks away from SPY, so you can see it followed and followed, and then right about right here it broke away from the S&P and started going nuts. So that's about where we are here. So as soon as it starts breaking away from the S&P, that's when we're really going to do it. So if we zoom in here, we can actually lay it over, and you can see it likes to follow. Recently, since we've had this sell-off here, typically people would go to silver and gold on bad days, but now it is following SPY. We can actually go daily here, and everyone's like, oh, silver's a safe haven. It's not, and it is, if that makes any sense, and I'll explain that to you. So you can see here that silver likes to follow the S&P. It runs up and down, and then it ran up here, and now it's going down right here. So even if we zoom in here, let's go 15 minutes, and we can try to overlay this. So you can see here, it sold off, it went up with SPY, it went down with SPY, it went up with SPY, it went down with SPY. We did have a giant gap here which we needed to fill, and then silver just decided to keep going down. I thought it was going to bounce here today, but the overall selling pressure from the market took silver down with it. Yeah, these gaps are... silver's been going crazy. Look at these. The gap, 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 gap. So we're filling all these gaps in right now, and we're getting to here. So as soon as it gets to here... Oh, let's put a date on this for you. So we're getting to here. The silver lottery play that I put, I didn't want you guys to put a lot of money in it. Maybe like 30, 40 bucks, and if you get a couple grand out of it, that's awesome. So the end of this tip is October 7th, which is the end of September. So my thought process was, usually things don't play out directly to the tip. Usually they break out beforehand. So if they break out beforehand, then we're going to be fine. I mean, you still got a lot of gaps here too. So, I mean, if silver came all the way back down here, gaps don't always have to be filled. Keep that in mind. There is a tendency to fill gaps, but they don't always have to be filled. So if you guys are cool with the S&P, we're going to take that off here. So the gap down here is way down at 1868, and there's a gap here and a gap here. But those are older gaps, and there's already plenty of buying in there. So, oh, this is on SLV. So this is the SLV lags actual spot silver. So spot silver, this would have been the $20 mark on spot silver right here. So if spot silver ever gets down to $20 again, and bounces, you want to put your life savings into it. But lottery play I mentioned today that I was thinking about, I think the January one's better, but so we can go on, say, the 15-minute here. It was I think a 29.30. So you buy in the 29 and you're selling the 30, and it was like $7. I think by the end of the day it was, I think it was like $4 or $5. Pretty cheap. So we have till the end of, there we go. So we have till here, and we need it to get to here. So we need it basically to do this again. So if we look at SLV, I'm just gonna make this look pretty real quick. There we go, much prettier. So we want it to go on another bull run right here. So we basically want it to do this right here again. And we can hit the latest we want to hold it till is probably about right here, which is September 20th. So it can totally do this in a week. As long as we don't get a breakout of this lower pennant, we're going to be fine. It's kind of in a bull flag right now. This pennant is actually slowly turning into a flag because it's going up and down, and this pennant was more like, I would have been more confident if this pennant looked like this and broke out right here, but now it's kind of turning into a longer flag because it looks like we need some more consolidation. No, I'm going to show you gold. Gold looks amazing. Gold looks better than silver in terms of technical analysis. Look at that. If you can't see that just looking at this, I don't know what to tell you. Like gold, the pennant on gold is absolutely beautiful. There we go. Just making some of these line up. So gold is in a wonderful pennant. So one of the things that I was looking for today was that breakout above 1960. And I thought we had it, which is why I put the lotto out, because I saw it pre-market at like 1970, and that's when I posted it. But according to this, it didn't happen, so it must be just where I'm getting my sources from. I gotta stick to one source apparently. Oh, hey Paul. So maybe I was using it's all pretty much the same thing. Zog, gold, US silver. But, I mean, you can see the pennant pretty clearly. You can see that I think this is what I did today, so this is why I issued, this is why I issued the buy signal today. So we had broken over this peak, and we formed a new peak. So we are slowly having better and better breakouts, so we are going to get there eventually. I put it in day trades this morning, just low key. It's not a super high confidence one. The January leap is way better, and I put that, it's on my YouTube page. You can go back and watch it. It just says Silver Lotto, 200% returns. So I'll answer a few more questions, and then I gotta get going, but I wanted to jump on here. Let's take a look at the dollar index here real quick. So I'm going to show you this. So before the dollar crashed last time, we had a big bear flag, and then it crashed, and then we had basically another bear flag, a rising bear flag here, and then it crashed, and now we have another bear flag. There's really nothing positive for the dollar. It's just whimpering right now. So as soon as it breaks below down here, we should see it go down to about 80. So dollar's just in a bear flag right now, triple peaking, and we'll probably, looks like it's potentially forming maybe a head and some shoulders here. And you can see it is selling off right now in the last few hours. If we go in on the 5-minute. So we had this rising wedge right here that broke out, and then we had it sell off overnight last night, and it got to here this morning, and then this is right where the market was bullish, and then it turned around, and then the dollar came back, and then at the end of the day the dollar's kind of been selling off. So dollar essentially VIX and SPY. Kind of. They don't always follow each other, kind of like VIX doesn't always follow SPY. So I don't know if it'll work really good, but we can actually overlay silver. I've tried doing this a couple times and it doesn't like to look pretty. Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't do. I'm trying to make it. There we go. So you can see here, you know, this is the dollar. That's the smaller scale here. Silver tends to run much harder than the dollar. So you can see as the dollar. So this is when silver had its first run. And you can see the dollar crashed. And then this is kind of silver going back and forth. And then this is today. And you can see silver went way up and the dollar went down, and then the dollar went back up and silver went down. The thing is, even when the dollar was going down here, silver was going down with it, but now silver's starting to go back up. It's not quite 100 to 100 inverse, but they affect each other, and that's why I talk about it. So I want to talk about this guy real quick, Eric Sprout. So he is a Canadian billionaire who made a lot of his money in precious metals. So one thing that happened today was Majestic Silver AG. He bought almost $80 million at the end of the day. So in the last half hour, he bought about $80 million worth, which is more than is usually traded in a day for AG. And we could pull up AG here. So I do follow AG. AG moves a little different than spot silver, but it does still move with spot silver. So what happens with silver miners is silver usually tends to run a lot faster first, and then the miners catch up to silver because they make their profits off the silver, so it always lags silver, if that makes sense. So if silver has a huge run, you could feel a little bit more confident getting into the silver miners. And that's probably why Buffett went into a gold mining instead of, say, a gold ETF. And that's probably why Eric Sprout went into a silver miner instead of the silver ETF. Is he's thinking that the miners have more upside because they usually lag silver price. So let's adjust that. So you see here you had a kind of a pennant here, or a wedge. And then we had the mini breakout, and now we're forming, believe we're forming a flag here. And just do that. So probably form a flag here, and then when we get to the end of it, we should break out here. And I'd say about mid-September is when we start going to see some action. Might be flat tomorrow, but we do have data tomorrow. If you want to know when the election is, it's Tuesday, November 3rd. Let's go to investing.com. This will be the last thing, and then I'm going to jump off. But this is something you guys can do if you ever want to get an economic calendar. They have a lot of ads, but it's free. So you can go to economic calendar. They have earnings calendars on here too. They have tons of different calendars on here. But I like to use this because it's fairly accurate. We can go into tomorrow. I am in the September lottos and the January lottos. Yes. I don't usually recommend something if I don't buy it myself. I feel like that's unfair. So we do have another thing that wasn't good for us today was Britain had Brexit news where they're threatening the EU basically, and that weakened the EU dollar or the euro because people were losing a little confidence in that because Great Britain was messing with the euro. So we have a lot of Great Britain data right away in the morning, and then some European, German, and Spanish data. So if all this is good, we're going to see a strengthening of the euro. And then in the morning, we have Consumer Price Index, CPI, and Core CPI, which should affect the dollar as well. So again, if we get good euro data and bad US data, if we get bad US data, it might tank SPY a little bit, but it will weaken, or it will strengthen the European euro, and eventually we'll see a rebound of silver because of that. So if these are wishy-washy, that's kind of what we want tomorrow, and we want these to be strong. I've always mentioned that gold is safer, but it has lower upside. So if you want more safety, gold is your boy to go into. If you want more upside, silver is your boy to go into. I always love upside, and that's why I've gone into silver more. But there's nothing wrong with gold. Absolutely not. Gold is, silver tends to lag gold, and silver tends to run faster than gold. But gold, you could do both. Or you could buy a mining company that is in both, like Wheaton Precious Metals. Check that out. Wheaton Precious Metals has gone absolutely ballistic this year. And if we go to the daily, Wheaton Precious Metals is in a cup, and it just broke out. So Wheaton Precious Metals mines silver, gold, platinum, palladium, all sorts of things. And you can see here, if we adjust these, it is still in an uptrend. Had a little bit below here, but we can actually clone this and see if it is correct. Let's see what we got here. Looks like it's more like that. Clone that and throw that down there. There we go. Get rid of that. I like channels to mirror each other. It's more accurate that way. So you can see metals, Wheaton Precious Metals, clearly an uptrend, and very good stock to get into if you just want to play one thing and have what's the word? Where all metals affect it, basically. If you're looking at this one, it's WPM, Wheaton Precious Metals. So these are my favorite. Those are my favorite silvers. Those are my favorite golds. This is my favorite, has access to everything. And if you want a sleeper, FCX is a copper miner, and they also mine a little bit of other stuff. But Freeport Mason, it's been getting a lot of dark pool buying. because the upside on it is massive. I want to show you back in the 2010s through 2011s. This miner had a couple of runs here. Was at 61. So this is another one you could get into. And this is a sleeper that has good daily volume, 19 to 22 million on average day. So it's highly liquid. So you could definitely play options on this. And it's just been lagging though. It hasn't caught up. But I do see it had a rising wedge here. I actually charted this probably a couple weeks ago. I haven't really looked at it recently. I should definitely look at it more, but so it looks like it broke down below the old resistance and it's back into this. So let's see if it bounces off here and gets back above here and then breaks out over that line. And then this could be a very good play. So, alright, that's going to do it for me, guys. And girls. I always forget about the girls. I know we got girls in here. But if you have questions, I'll leave my private messages open. And, yeah, I'll post this after. So, thank you.